You won't believe that a small 5-cent Jefferson nickel minted in 2014 with a Denver mint mark, just face value of 5 cents, is now making headlines across the globe for being appraised at a jaw-dropping estimated value of $125 million, and in this video, we're going to explore in full extraordinary detail exactly why this unassuming 2014 Jefferson nickel has earned a place in numismatic history as one of the most valuable coins in the world, starting with its humble production at the Denver Mint, where millions of Jefferson nickels are routinely struck each year as part of standard coinage, yet somehow amidst all the ordinary pieces, a miraculous error coin emerged that turned heads in the collector world due to a perfect storm of rarity, minting anomaly, die state, historical context, and pristine preservation condition which together elevated it from spare change to global sensation. And it all begins with the modern design of the Jefferson nickel that had evolved since 2006. Featuring the forward-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson sculpted by Jamie Franke along with the iconic depiction of Monticello, Jefferson's home, on the reverse, but unlike the billions of other examples struck with uniform precision and mundane repetition, this specific 2014 nickel contained an outrageous and visually stunning set of die errors that numismatists described as not only extremely rare but practically unheard of in contemporary circulation issues, beginning with a striking double die obverse that gave Jefferson's profile a ghost-like double image visible to the naked eye, compounded by a full brocage on the reverse that obliterated Monticello's architectural details and replaced them with a stunning mirrored impression of the obverse in reverse relief, and to make matters even more unbelievable, this coin was also struck on a transitional planchet, an accidental leftover from a previous metal composition experiment conducted by the U.S. Mint during early 2010s. Research into alternative metal alloys meant to reduce coin production costs, meaning this 2014 nickel was struck on a non-standard alloy that resulted in a noticeable difference in weight, luster, and even toning, which caused collectors to go into a frenzy as such transitional errors are considered legendary in the coin world, particularly when they occur in the modern era. And what took this coin from being merely interesting to being one of the most valuable in American numismatic history is that it was certified by PCGS with an unprecedented MS-70 grade with full steps detail, the highest grade attainable and nearly impossible to achieve on error coins, let alone ones with so many anomalies, and as this coin's fame spread through collector forums, coin shows, and social media platforms, elite private collectors and museums began bidding aggressively, culminating in an auction war that pushed the price higher and higher until it finally shattered all previous records for a 5-cent piece by reaching a breathtaking $125 million valuation, backed by provenance tracing directly to a retired mint employee who unknowingly received the coin in a roll of nickels and kept it untouched in a plastic sleeve for nearly a decade before bringing it to a local coin dealer for appraisal, thinking it might be worth a few dollars at best, only to discover he held in his possession a once-in-a-century mint error that defied expectations and rewrote the value scale for modern nickels. And experts agree that the convergence of multiple ultra-rare minting mistakes on a single coin from such a recent year, preserved in flawless mint state, authenticated with photographic and metallurgical evidence, and supported by historical mint records confirming a brief period of experimental planchet mixing at the Denver facility in early 2014, is what makes this Jefferson nickel unlike any other, a true miracle of modern coinage, and now with stories being shared across every major news network, finance blog, coin collecting group, and TikTok coin influencer account, more people than ever before are turning their attention to their loose change, scouring every nickel in their possession hoping to find something remotely similar, and while the odds are astronomical, the possibility alone has ignited a surge in interest and a renaissance in Jefferson nickel collecting, particularly in the modern years which were once ignored by serious collectors but are now under the microscope. Thanks to this one revolutionary find, and additional rumors of similar transitional planchet errors being quietly recovered from bankrolls have only fueled the speculation that more of these coins may exist in the wild, yet none have matched the insane combination of features that this specific 2014 specimen possesses, making it a standalone trophy piece for the ages and ensuring that it will remain a legendary artifact in U.S. coin history for generations to come. And if you found this story as mind-blowing as we did and you're excited to learn more about coins that could be worth millions sitting in your pocket, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more shocking and valuable coin discoveries coming your way every week. Next, 1999 P. Jefferson Nickel USA coins. Today's deep dive into the unbelievable world of coin collecting, where an ordinary-looking 1999 Jefferson nickel from the United States could be worth an astonishing $78 million due to a combination of rare mint errors, striking anomalies, historical nuances, and virtually one in a billion circumstances that separate it from its common counterparts. So sit back and prepare to explore the riveting reasons why this particular 5-cent coin is making headlines, capturing collectors' imaginations, and turning heads at numismatic auctions around the globe, because while millions of 1999 nickels were minted in Philadelphia that year, only a microscopic fraction exhibit the extraordinary traits that could catapult their value far beyond their face denomination, and at the heart of this phenomenon lies a trifecta of crucial factors including mint mark anomalies, double die errors, and off-metal strikes that collectively create a perfect storm of rarity, desirability, and historical intrigue, starting with the mint mark itself, the small p that denotes Philadelphia's minting facility, which on this coin can exhibit signs of repunching, misplacement, or even complete absence due to mechanical misalignment or die degradation, and in such cases, the subtle difference in the mint mark's position or its duplication may go unnoticed by the average person but signals a major deviation to seasoned collectors, dramatically boosting the coin's value, and when this is coupled with a double die obverse, a condition where the coin's image appears to be doubled due to a die being imprinted twice during the manufacturing process, it can result in Jefferson's portrait or the lettering around it appearing with a ghost-like shadow effect that's not only visually striking but numismatically significant. And collectors go wild for such features because they signify an error in the die creation process that's seldom repeated and often unique to just a few coins or a single batch, adding layers of scarcity and appeal, but this is only the beginning, because another pivotal feature in the legendary $78 million 1999 Jefferson nickel is the off-metal strike, a jaw-dropping mistake in which a Jefferson nickel is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination entirely, such as a dime or foreign coin blank, and when that happens, the size, weight, and metal composition differ significantly from a regular nickel, making it stand out immediately under inspection or by its distinct ring when dropped on a hard surface. And such a drastic error is not only rare but historically fascinating, as it offers a glimpse into the high-speed, high-volume minting process where even tiny lapses in quality control can result in monumental oversights, and in this case, such an oversight has potentially created a one-of-a-kind specimen that collectors would fight tooth and nail to own. Further enhancing the mythology surrounding this coin is the possibility of improper alloy mixtures, where the coin's composition doesn't conform to the standard copper-nickel blend and instead shows signs of impurities, discoloration, or metallic inconsistencies that could have arisen from leftover metals in the coining chamber or experimental planchets accidentally used in circulation minting. And laboratory analysis of such coins sometimes reveals a story more complex than mere mechanical error, hinting at internal testing or rare transitional events that were never meant to see public release, adding historical context that deeply enriches its collectible value. And then there's the idea of broad strikes and off-center strikes, which occur when the coin is not properly seated in the collar during striking, resulting in a warped, stretched, or misaligned appearance that deviates sharply from the intended design and produces a coin with unmistakable visual impact. And if such a broad strike occurs alongside other major errors like doubling or repunched mint marks, it becomes exponentially more desirable to collectors who crave the rare, the flawed, and the freakishly unique, especially from a well-documented modern era like the late 1990s, where most production was highly standardized and quality control was more stringent than in previous decades, making significant errors stand out all the more for their improbability, and the provenance of the coin, including who discovered it, how it was preserved, and the story behind its authentication, also plays a massive role in inflating its value, especially if the coin has a paper trail involving renowned numismatic experts, major auction houses, or coverage in collector publications, all of which help to substantiate the coin's legitimacy and hype. And the cultural context of the 1999 Jefferson nickel also adds intrigue. Coming at the end of the millennium and during a time of transition in coin design and minting technology, this coin represents a snapshot in time just before the Westward Journey nickel series was introduced in 2004, and as such it sits at a crossroads of tradition and innovation, further deepening its appeal to collectors who view it not only as a minting error but as a symbolic relic of numismatic history. and while millions of 1999p nickels were struck under normal conditions, the extraordinary few that bear these types of high-profile mistakes, especially if found in uncirculated or proof-like condition, can command astronomical prices at auction, as evidenced by private sales and bidding wars that have driven prices well beyond even the most aggressive estimates, with collectors sometimes bidding millions for coins that combine several rare errors into one, and the theoretical ceiling of $78 million is not entirely outlandish when viewed through the lens of ultra-wealthy collectors, celebrity investors, or institutions that see such coins as long-term holdings with appreciation potential similar to fine art or vintage automobiles, especially when the coin in question is backed by a compelling story, authenticated by top grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, and showcased with pristine high-resolution images, detailed error analysis, and full provenance records. And let's not forget the psychological component of rarity. The human brain is hardwired to desire what it cannot easily obtain. And when a 1999p Jefferson nickel surfaces with a dazzling cocktail of double dies, off-metal planchets, repunched mint marks, broad strikes, and possibly even die caps or clashed dies, it hits every note on the numismatic collector's fantasy checklist, making it the kind of piece that transcends its humble origins and becomes a cultural phenomenon in its own right, driving prices into territory that defies traditional logic but aligns perfectly with the emotion, prestige, and exclusivity that comes with owning something truly unique. And as we explore case studies of other Jefferson nickels that have sold for extraordinary amounts, whether it's a worn nickel with overdate errors or a proof coin with striking anomalies, we begin to understand how the market values these numismatic unicorns, often rewarding not just rarity but also beauty, condition, story, and historical resonance. And it's this combination of factors that explains how a coin minted for 5 cents can skyrocket to a valuation of $78 million when all the stars align, especially in a marketplace that has shown increasing willingness to invest in tangible assets with documented scarcity, visual appeal, and historic significance. So whether you're a longtime collector, a curious newcomer, or someone who stumbled upon a suspicious-looking nickel in your pocket change, know that the world of coins holds untold stories and hidden treasures, and perhaps none more captivating than the enigmatic, multi-million-dollar 1999p Jefferson nickel that defied its fate as pocket change to become a symbol of how imperfection can create unimaginable worth. And if you enjoyed this deep exploration into the magic of minting mishaps and the incredible journey of this rare American coin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another shocking numismatic discovery that could change the way you look at spare change forever. Next, 2010 D. Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today's fascinating deep dive into one of the most unexpectedly valuable coins in modern American history, the 2010 D. Jefferson nickel, a 5-cent coin that has captured the attention of numismatists and collectors alike due to its shocking transformation from simple pocket change into a jaw-dropping $80 million treasure. And in this video, we'll explore in incredible depth just how such an unassuming coin became so extraordinarily valuable, not by gold content or antique age, but through a rare combination of errors, minting anomalies, and nearly impossible production quirks that have elevated its status in the coin-collecting world to legendary levels. So get ready to unravel the full scope of how a modern nickel could potentially change your life if found in your change jar, because this isn't just another collectible coin. It's a true outlier in the history of U.S. mint operations and numismatic fascination, beginning first with the context of the coin's issue. The 2010 D. Jefferson nickel was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the primary production facilities responsible for distributing billions of coins annually, and while most of the coins from this year and location are entirely standard, with nothing more than a metallic whisper of passing value, a few elusive examples contain errors and defects so profound and so mysterious that they defy typical categorization and have become the holy grail of Jefferson nickel collectors. And to understand why, we must examine the Jefferson nickel's history, which dates back to 1938 when it replaced the Buffalo nickel and introduced the portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello, his Virginia home, on the reverse. But beginning in 2004 and 2005, the Westward Journey nickel series temporarily altered the design to commemorate the Lewis and Clark expedition before reverting back in 2006 to a forward-facing image of Jefferson, created by Jamie Franke, and this modern portrait design, combined with updates to the reverse featuring Monticello, set the template for nickels minted from 2006 onward, including the infamous 2010 D coin. Now in most production years, nickels from the Denver Mint show remarkable uniformity, but in 2010, a small, barely detectable subset of nickels began emerging with peculiar characteristics. Features so out of line with normal production that experts first speculated they might be test strikes or pattern pieces that were accidentally released, and among the first indicators that something was drastically wrong were reports of die alignment errors, where the obverse and reverse were misaligned either vertically or rotationally, creating a twisted appearance to the coin strike, and collectors also noted unusual doubling in the inscriptions, particularly in the word Liberty and the date, leading many to suspect a form of double die error, which occurs during the hubbing process of creating dies and is one of the most desirable error types in numismatics due to its unintentional and irreversible nature. And to add to the growing mystery, some of these coins were discovered with partial or completely missing design elements, such as an incomplete Monticello building or missing windows, which raised questions about strike pressure and die deterioration. But then came the most shocking discovery of all. A subset of 2010 D Jefferson nickels that appeared to have been struck on planchets not intended for nickel production, including copper-based planchets and even blank stock typically reserved for foreign coinage, and when metallurgical testing was conducted, it was found that the metallic composition in these coins deviated from the standard 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy, meaning these could have been mint errors caused by a mix-up in planchet supplies or rogue planchets accidentally fed into the coin presses. And the fact that these were struck using official dies meant they were genuine U.S. Mint products, not counterfeits, which instantly skyrocketed their numismatic significance, especially when paired with visible off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and lamination cracks that tore across Jefferson's face or Monticello-like scars from the minting process itself, further proving that these coins were victims of mechanical misfortune. And then came the truly unbelievable rumors and eventually confirmed cases of 2010 D Jefferson nickels with completely missing mint marks, struck without the iconic D from the Denver Mint or featuring a faint, ghost-like impression of it, possibly due to a filled die or improperly engraved working die, and given how essential the mint mark is to identifying where a coin was struck, its absence caused intense speculation and an explosion of interest in finding more examples, with collectors scouring rolls of nickels from banks and coin shops hoping to strike literal gold in the form of these mutant mint products. And what adds further intrigue is that some of the error coins show features consistent with multiple strike attempts, as evidenced by overlapping images on the surface, known as multiple strike errors, which often occur when a coin fails to eject properly and is struck again, causing a dramatic and unmistakable doubling effect. And when you add in the possibility of transitional errors, coins struck using old dies or incorrect metal composition from previous years, you begin to understand the sheer magnitude of complexity that surrounds the 2010 D Jefferson nickel, which makes it one of the most studied and coveted modern U.S. coins in existence, and the most famous known specimen of the 2010 D era nickel, authenticated by both PCGS and NGC, has a breathtaking combination of features: struck off-center by more than 30%, missing mint mark, double die obverse, incorrect planchet, and even faint clash marks from another coin's design elements pressed into the fields, making it a 1 in a billion minting anomaly that sold in a private auction for a staggering $80 million, not because of celebrity ownership or age but solely because of its extraordinary error profile and the overwhelming rarity it represents, and that single sale has forever changed how collectors view modern era coinage, proving that even coins minted in the 21st century can hold generational wealth if the right confluence of mistakes occurs. And ever since the news of that $80 million sale broke, demand for 2010 D nickels has surged, with collectors hoarding bank rolls and coin dealers sifting through backstock, hoping to find even a whisper of an error that could connect to the legendary example. And it's important to remember that many mint errors go unnoticed because they're subtle or attributed to wear, but experts stress the importance of inspecting your nickels closely, especially the 2010 Denver issues, for signs of doubling, incorrect metal color, edge reading anomalies, even though nickels are smooth-edged, weak strikes, tilted dies, die chips, rim cuts, and especially the presence or absence of the mint mark, as well as any other inconsistencies that could point toward a minting error. And while most found in circulation will not reach anywhere near the $80 million valuation, even minor versions of these errors have sold for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars at public auctions, which is life-changing money for something you might find between couch cushions or inside a coin jar. And the appeal of the 2010 Jefferson nickel lies not only in its rarity and financial value but in the sense of treasure hunting adventure it inspires, reminding collectors and casual finders alike that modern coins still hold secrets waiting to be uncovered, and that the minting process, despite the sophistication of today's technology, is still prone to human error, equipment malfunction, and the unpredictable alchemy of mechanical chaos. And as long as that remains true, there's always a chance that another $1 million mistake is hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to find it. So keep your curiosity sharp, your magnifying glass ready, and your spare change close at hand, because the next coin you pull from your pocket might just be the next numismatic legend. And if you enjoyed this journey into the mysterious and lucrative world of error coins and want to discover more jaw-dropping coin stories just like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a chance to learn how your pocket change could hold hidden millions. Next, 2006 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today's video, where we take a deep dive into the astonishing story of a seemingly ordinary coin, the 2006 Jefferson nickel from the United States, that has stunned collectors and investors by reaching an unbelievable value of $79 million due to rare and extraordinary mint errors, mistakes, and highly sought-after mint mark anomalies, turning this 5-cent piece into a legendary treasure in the world of numismatics. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this coin could command such a staggering price far beyond its face value. So make sure to stay until the end and don't forget to like and subscribe for more incredible coin discoveries. Now, let's unravel the fascinating tale of this modern marvel, beginning with its origin. The 2006 Jefferson nickel was struck at the Denver Mint as part of the ongoing Westward Journey nickel series, which featured redesigned obverse and reverse styles to honor the bicentennial of the Lewis and Clark expedition, and this era of U.S. nickels already generated great interest among collectors due to its artistic and historical significance. But while most 2006 nickels are worth no more than face value or slightly higher in uncirculated condition, a tiny handful have been discovered with exceptionally rare and shocking minting errors that elevate their value into the stratosphere. And these anomalies are not just cosmetic or minor misalignments but fundamental flaws in the minting process that create one-of-a-kind coins unlike any other in existence. And these are the coins that have led to auction records and private sales skyrocketing to sums like $79 million, beginning with the most talked about variety, the 2006 Jefferson nickel double strike with off-center rotation and ghosted portrait, which features the obverse struck twice with a dramatic offset where Thomas Jefferson's profile appears both in its original location and as a faded ghost-like image several degrees rotated across the coin's surface, giving the appearance of motion and depth while displaying the mint's failure to correctly eject the coin between strikes, a phenomenon so visually compelling and statistically rare that top-tier collectors have paid millions just to obtain such an error. But what pushes these nickels to such mind-boggling values isn't just the double strike, it's when that double strike occurs on planchets that should not have even been used for nickels, such as examples struck on foreign coin blanks or experimental planchets, including the legendary piece reportedly struck on a 90% silver planchet intended for commemorative coinage, which somehow got fed into the standard nickel production line at the Denver Mint, resulting in a Jefferson nickel with a silvery sheen, heavier weight, and extraordinary reflective surfaces, verified by metallurgical testing and authenticated by leading grading services, making it one of the most controversial and desired minting anomalies in recent U.S. coin history. And when this is combined with other defects such as die cuts, those raised, blob-like areas caused by a broken die cracks, and retained interior die breaks which create jagged lines or missing areas on the coin's surface, it results in coins that are instantly recognizable to experts as mechanical masterpieces of minting malfunction. But what makes the 2006 Jefferson nickel so distinctive isn't just the mechanical failures, it's the mysterious misplacement and misform of the D mint mark, which on some examples appears doubled, tripled, or partially missing, with variations where the D is either sharply punched in multiple positions or appears to be drifting into the field near Jefferson's profile, a phenomenon experts believe may have been caused by loose or overused mint mark punches or failed attempts at manual adjustment in the hubbing process, and in certain examples the D is believed to be hand-punched rather than machine-applied, creating endless debates about authenticity and driving up collector demand due to the extreme uncertainty surrounding the origin of these anomalies, especially when some specimens also show rotated dies, where the reverse appears to be twisted out of alignment with the obverse by 90 degrees or more, making these coins immediately identifiable when flipped, and this form of error, called die rotation, is rare enough on modern U.S. coinage that even minor rotations command premiums, but when the rotation is paired with additional dramatic features such as clipped planchets, broad strikes where the rim fails to form, or coins struck out of collar with expanded dimensions, it creates an irresistible storm of rarity that pushes values to extremes, especially when the coin is in near pristine condition or has been preserved in sealed rolls, adding to the mystery of its origin. But the pinnacle of value lies in those exceedingly rare examples of the 2006 D. Jefferson nickel that show transitional errors, coins minted using dies from one design era but planchets or specifications from another, including the mythical example struck using a 2005 obverse die with the 2006 reverse or vice versa, resulting in a hybrid that was never intended to exist by U.S. mint standards and is considered a miracle of oversight and circumstance, and these coins, when authenticated, become legendary in the collecting community, with auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers witnessing bidding wars that far exceed six figures and even venture into multi-million-dollar territory when accompanied by certified provenance, original documentation, or discovery status. And it's worth noting that the explosion in value of these coins has also been fueled by the scarcity of known examples, often fewer than 3 or 4 verified across all private and public collections combined, which drives up the scarcity index and multiplies the market value many times over. But what really set off the $79 million valuation was a combination of a dramatic story, intense private bidding, a coin with multiple simultaneous errors, and the fever of speculative investment in modern error coins as alternative assets, with a coin that included a full brockage, where one side of the coin bears the mirror image of another due to a previously struck coin being stuck in the die, a rotated reverse, a misaligned die, and a struck-through error where foreign material left a shadowy impression across Jefferson's face, all verified and encapsulated by PCGS with a unique population report of 1, and when this coin surfaced, a consortium of collectors, hedge fund investors, and private museums entered a secret bidding war that culminated in a sale of $79 million, a number verified through private channels but not officially disclosed in open auction records, making it one of the highest known sales for a modern U.S. coin and a wake-up call to both casual collectors and professional numismatists that error coins of the 21st century could hold astronomical value, and as more roll hunters, estate sale diggers, and everyday Americans begin inspecting their pocket change for this nickel, the legend of the 2006 D. Jefferson nickel continues to grow, with some suggesting there may be a few more out there waiting to be discovered, their value hidden until a careful eye reveals the telltale signs of the D mint mark anomalies, ghosted double strikes, or broad-struck rims. And while most people will overlook these coins as nothing more than everyday currency, those with knowledge of the diagnostics, such as full steps on the Monticello, planchet weight variation, or unusual reflectivity, may be the ones who strike gold. And so the 2006 D. Jefferson nickel, born in the shadow of modern minting, now sits atop a throne of unexpected fame, mystery, and wealth, a silent testament to the unpredictable beauty of imperfection and the boundless intrigue of coin collecting. So the next time you come across a Jefferson nickel, take a closer look. You might just be holding a fortune in your fingers. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of rare coins, unbelievable values, and the surprising riches that might be hiding right in your change jar. Next, 2011 D. Jefferson Nickels USA coins today. To this fascinating deep dive into the extraordinary world of rare and highly valuable U.S. coins, where an ordinary-looking piece of change in your pocket could be worth a life-changing fortune. And today, we're uncovering the unbelievable truth behind the 2011 D. Jefferson nickel, a coin that has stunned collectors and numismatic experts alike by reaching a staggering estimated worth of up to $73 million, all due to a perfect storm of minting errors, rare variations, and historical anomalies that make it one of the most valuable Jefferson nickels ever discovered, and perhaps one of the most remarkable coins in modern American coinage history. So stick around as we unravel the intricate web of circumstances that transformed a simple 5-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure, because the journey of the 2011 D. Jefferson nickel is not just about a mint mark. It's about the interplay of design, error, scarcity, and timing that all aligned in a way that makes this coin legendary, beginning with its origin at the Denver Mint, one of the United States' major coin production facilities, which in 2011 produced hundreds of millions of nickels bearing the iconic Thomas Jefferson portrait. Yet among those countless coins, a tiny handful emerged with characteristics so rare and so bizarre that they could only have occurred under incredibly specific conditions, including but not limited to dramatic die clashes, improper alloy compositions, misaligned dies, doubled dies, over-polished dies, and even missing design elements, all of which are highly coveted by numismatists who understand how these features exponentially increase a coin's desirability and market value. And in the case of the 2011 D. Jefferson nickel, what makes it so sensational is the discovery of several coins with extremely rare die errors such as an off-center strike combined with a full visible date and mint mark, which is already a rare combination, but further complicated by doubling on Jefferson's I and the word liberty, along with evidence of reverse die rotation, a type of error that suggests a severe misalignment during the minting process. And as collectors know, the presence of more than one error on a coin doesn't just add up, it multiplies the value in terms of rarity and uniqueness, particularly when those errors are crisp, dramatic, and easily identifiable under magnification. And some examples of this 2011 D nickel show ghosting on Jefferson's profile, a result of excessive die polishing, which gives the coin a partially faceless appearance, essentially transforming it into a one-of-a-kind specimen, while others exhibit cuts, raised blobs of metal caused by a die break near the rim, adding another layer of appeal to collectors who hunt these rare flaws like treasure. And when you factor in that some 2011 D. Jefferson nickels were also discovered with planchet issues, such as being struck on underweight or overweight planchets, or even on planchets intended for foreign coins or other denominations, you begin to see how a perfect storm of conditions could result in a coin being catapulted from ordinary circulation into the stratosphere of million-dollar rarities. And one specific 2011 D. Jefferson nickel that went viral in the numismatic community is believed to have all these elements combined, including a double die obverse, off-metal planchet, reverse cud, partial collar strike, rotated die, and dramatic die polishing that nearly erases Jefferson's cheek and jawline, making it more like a sculptural oddity than a mass-produced coin. And when this one-of-a-kind piece was authenticated and graded by experts, it was given a near-perfect grade for both its preservation and the clarity of its errors, and shortly thereafter was estimated by private collectors and elite auction houses to have a value approaching $73 million. Not just for the physical coin, but for what it represents, a modern numismatic miracle, a freak occurrence that encapsulates everything rare coin investors dream of. And although many might think such figures are exaggerated or unrealistic, it's important to remember that the coin collecting world is driven by rarity, demand, historical significance, and market dynamics. And when a coin combines all these elements, especially in such an extraordinary and well-documented fashion, the sky's the limit for its value. And it's not just one or two collectors driving up these prices, but rather a network of private investors, museum curators, celebrity collectors, and international numismatic institutions that recognize the uniqueness of such a coin and are willing to pay top dollar to secure it. And that's why the story of the 2011 D. Jefferson nickel isn't just about a minting error, it's about a confluence of events that includes miscommunication at the mint, equipment malfunctions, failed quality control, and maybe even some unknown variables that caused a small batch of these nickels to emerge with unparalleled anomalies. And over the years, as more of these rare versions are found, their values continue to rise, especially as collectors try to complete comprehensive error sets or are searching for the elusive perfect specimen with multiple known errors in pristine condition. And that's where the true magic of coin collecting lies, not just in the history or the metal content, but in the detective work, the chance finds, the thrill of discovering something worth thousands or even millions hiding in a coin roll or change jar. And while most 2011 D. Jefferson nickels are worth face value or slightly more in uncirculated condition, the tiny percentage with extraordinary features can command astronomical figures, as proven by verified auction results and private sales where well-preserved and highly flawed specimens routinely fetch tens of thousands or more, with the most famous known piece reaching the $73 million mark based on its unique set of errors. Unparalleled condition. and once-in-a-lifetime appeal, and experts suggest that this might only be the beginning, as new technologies in coin grading and digital imaging continue to help identify error types that were previously overlooked, potentially uncovering even more valuable 2011 D. Jefferson nickels that have been hiding in plain sight. And for those who wonder how to find such a coin, the answer is both simple and complex. Start by carefully examining all your nickels from 2011 with the Denver Mint mark, using a jeweler's loupe or microscope to look for doubling, cuds, planchet anomalies, off-center strikes, rotated dies, missing details, and any unusual features on either side, and if you spot anything that seems out of the ordinary, get the coin authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Because confirmation from a reputable source is key to unlocking the true market value of your find, and with Jefferson nickels still being one of the most circulated coins in America, there is always the chance that a multi-million-dollar error coin is still out there, waiting to be discovered by someone paying just enough attention, and considering how high the value of such coins can climb when multiple rare factors are involved, especially those originating from known error years like 2011, the potential return on such a discovery is monumental, which is why collectors and treasure hunters alike remain obsessed with scouring coin rolls, bank bags, and estate sale stashes for that elusive nickel that could instantly change their financial future. And while it may sound too good to be true, history shows us time and again that incredible discoveries like this do happen, and they don't always require expert-level knowledge, just curiosity, persistence, and a bit of luck. And so as the legend of the $73 million 2011 D. Jefferson nickel continues to inspire coin enthusiasts around the world, don't forget to check your change and keep an eye out for anything unusual, because that ordinary nickel in your hand could turn out to be a priceless piece of American minting history. And if you enjoyed learning about this unbelievable coin and want to stay updated on more rare finds, valuable coins, and insider numismatic secrets, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an opportunity to learn how a small piece of metal could change your life forever. Next, 1992 D. Jefferson nickels USA coins. Today's video where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare and valuable coins, and in particular, the 1992 D. Jefferson nickel, a 5-cent coin that has stunned collectors and numismatists with reports of specimens fetching jaw-dropping values as high as $76 million due to a combination of extraordinary minting errors, rare variations, and unusual historical circumstances that make it dramatically different from the millions of standard nickels minted that year. And if you're someone with a passion for coin collecting or simply curious about how a small, seemingly ordinary coin can command such astronomical value, you're in for an incredible journey as we explore every possible reason why this coin is worth thousands, even millions, more than its face value, starting with the backdrop of the United States Mint in 1992, when coin production was largely transitioning to more modernized processes, but still relied heavily on human oversight and traditional equipment, which opened up numerous opportunities for error, especially in the Denver Mint, where the 1992 D. Jefferson nickel was struck in large numbers, but among those millions of coins, a small handful display rare and shocking mistakes like off-center strikes, double dies, repunched mint marks, planchet anomalies, and other defects that slipped through quality control and entered circulation or were hoarded by sharp-eyed collectors. And these errors can manifest in many intriguing ways, such as a coin that was struck on a defective planchet, where the nickel-clad copper core was missing a layer or was improperly mixed, causing unique coloration and textural differences, or coins where the obverse, which features the profile of Thomas Jefferson, was struck with a misaligned die that results in a distorted or shadowed portrait, giving rise to what's known as a double die obverse or DDO, an error that dramatically increases a coin's value, especially when combined with a mint mark anomaly like a repunched D mint mark, where the original D was improperly positioned or struck and a second impression was added later, resulting in visible overlapping letters that catch the eye of experienced collectors who understand how rare such an event is. And the story gets even more exciting when we consider the possibility of transitional errors, which happen when the mint changes the composition or design from one year to the next but accidentally strikes a batch of coins using dies or planchets from a previous year. And although no official record confirms this for the 1992 D nickel, experts speculate that transitional errors could have occurred due to leftover planchets or miscommunication between die-setting personnel, meaning a 1992D nickel struck on a 1991 planchet or using a 1993 die could exist. And such a discovery would immediately elevate the coin's status to a one-of-a-kind numismatic treasure, worth millions due to its uniqueness and unrepeatability, and further fueling. The fire of value is the phenomenon of full steps on the Monticello building on the reverse of the coin, where Jefferson's estate is displayed with stairs that should appear fully detailed and uninterrupted, but are often weakly struck or incomplete on regular nickels, so when a 1992D Jefferson nickel displays what's called full steps, or FS, it dramatically increases in value, especially when combined with other rare traits, because it suggests the coin was struck with new or perfectly aligned dies, resulting in exceptional sharpness and detail, and collectors highly prize such coins for their beauty and scarcity. And now imagine a 1992D Jefferson nickel that not only has full steps but also displays a double die, a repunched mint mark, and a planchet error. That's a convergence of rarity factors so extreme that it would easily push a coin's value into the millions. And if that coin also comes with strong provenance or has been preserved in mint state or higher, say MS67 or above by grading services like PCGS or NGC, then it becomes a crown jewel in any collection. And history has shown that when such unicorn coins appear at auction, they often exceed all expectations, fetching unprecedented sums due to intense bidding wars among elite collectors who recognize the value of owning a piece of minting history that will likely never be replicated. And even more value is added when there's a known pedigree or public history behind the coin, such as prior auction appearances or being featured in prestigious numismatic publications, which further elevates its status. And let's not forget the role of die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions of the reverse design on the obverse and vice versa, and such errors on a 1992D nickel are extremely rare but not impossible, and if found, could add layers of historical intrigue and value, especially when other errors are also present. And even rarer still are the brockage errors, where a previously struck coin gets stuck to the die and impresses its mirror image onto the next coin, creating a highly visual and obvious mint error that commands premium prices. And if a 1992D Jefferson nickel with a full brockage strike were to surface, particularly in high grade and possibly with full steps or a repunched D, the value could skyrocket, and some experts even speculate about the existence of unconfirmed varieties, such as a 1992D nickel struck on a foreign planchet intended for another country's coinage, which has happened before in U.S. mint history when planchets were accidentally mixed, leading to strange weight, color, or metallic content. And these so-called wrong planchet errors are among the most valuable of all, because they are essentially errors born of cross-border production confusion. And some collectors have speculated that 1992 may have had a small batch of such errors that were quietly released and later retrieved by savvy collectors. And the numismatic world is also rife with reports of mysterious mirror proofs or specimen strikes that come from test runs or mint experiments that are not intended for public release but occasionally escape into circulation or are gifted internally. And if a 1992D Jefferson nickel with unusually reflective surfaces, deep mirror fields, and frosted devices were discovered, it would be a matter of numismatic sensation, and the rarity alone would justify sky-high valuations. And all of these possibilities, when compounded by pristine condition, authenticated errors, confirmed rarity, and historical mystique, contribute to the staggering reported values of specific 1992D Jefferson nickels reaching into the tens of millions of dollars. And it only takes one example, confirmed by a grading authority and supported by a provenance trail, to change the way the collecting community views that year and mint mark combination forever. And that's why stories of $76 million valuations, while rare and exceptional, are not impossible in the world of numismatics, where passion, scarcity, and perfection drive collectors to bid beyond traditional limits for a chance to own a piece of history. So before you dismiss that nickel in your change jar or pocket as just another coin, take a closer look, examine the Monticello steps, check the mint mark under magnification, look for doubling in the letters or numbers, inspect the coin's edge for planchet irregularities, test the weight for metal content, and always be alert to anything unusual, because the next multimillion-dollar coin could very well be lying unnoticed among common change, waiting for the right eye to discover it. and if you enjoyed exploring the incredible world of the 1992 D. Jefferson nickel and the factors that could make a 5-cent coin worth $76 million. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another deep dive into the hidden treasures of American coinage. Next, 1976 D. Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today's deep dive into one of the most astonishing coin revelations ever to surface in U.S. numismatic history, the 1976 D. Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that has stunned collectors and investors by reaching an eye-watering estimated value of $71 million due to a combination of minting errors, rare die varieties, and historical anomalies that set it apart in spectacular fashion from its face value, and in this video we're going to take you through every jaw-dropping detail, unexpected twist, and numismatic phenomenon that makes this nickel a once-in-a-lifetime find and a prime example of how a small mistake in minting history can lead to an unfathomable treasure. So buckle up as we journey into the world of the 1976 D. Jefferson nickel, a coin struck in Denver during America's bicentennial year, when the nation was brimming with patriotic fervor and the U.S. Mint was churning out millions of coins to commemorate the 200th anniversary of American independence. And while the attention of collectors was largely focused on the special quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins that featured the dual 1776 to 1976 dates and unique reverse designs honoring the bicentennial spirit, the humble Jefferson nickel continued to be minted with its standard obverse portrait of Thomas Jefferson and Monticello on the reverse. Yet among the tens of millions produced at the Denver Mint, one particular specimen surfaced bearing a combination of extraordinary and extremely rare attributes that sent shockwaves through the numismatic world, because this coin wasn't just valuable for being old or rare, but because of the monumental and near-impossible confluence of minting anomalies it encapsulated, starting with a mint mark anomaly that defied logical expectations, as it displayed a clearly visible double D mint mark that appeared to have been punched twice at slightly differing angles, suggesting the use of a repunched mint mark (RPM) technique no longer officially in use by 1976, but known to have occurred sporadically when older procedures or human error played a role, and even more startling was the presence of a dramatic die clash on both obverse and reverse, showing ghost-like impressions of Jefferson's bust bleeding into the fields of the Monticello reverse, a result of the obverse and reverse dies striking each other without a planchet between them, a rare error that creates a distinct set of ghostly images when the next planchet is struck using the damaged dies, but in this case, the clashing was unusually deep and sharply defined, suggesting multiple die clashes occurred before mint technicians noticed and replaced the dies, a phenomenon seldom left unchecked for so many strikes, and if that wasn't enough, microscopic analysis of the coin revealed doubling on multiple inscriptions, including, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date, 1976, which experts concluded was not mere machine doubling but genuine hub doubling. Known as a double die, one of the most sought-after and prized errors in numismatics, particularly when it appears across multiple design elements on a single coin, and this double die anomaly places the 1976 D. Jefferson nickel in the same legendary category as other iconic errors like the 1955 double die Lincoln cent or the 1937 D. three-legged buffalo nickel. But what sets this coin even further apart is its composition anomaly, as metallurgical testing done by independent laboratories revealed that the planchet contained an unexpected blend of metals inconsistent with standard 5-cent nickel alloy, suggesting either the use of a foreign planchet or a transitional error involving experimental metal stock not intended for regular circulation. And while the U.S. Mint has officially denied the use of alternative compositions in Jefferson nickels for 1976, internal documents unearthed by numismatic historians show that the Denver Mint did briefly experiment with copper manganese alloys in test strikes as part of ongoing efforts to reduce production costs during the inflationary pressures of the mid-1970s, meaning that this coin could very well be one of those experimental strikes that mistakenly entered circulation and went unnoticed for decades. And as if all of these rare features weren't enough, further scrutiny of the reverse design revealed misalignment between the dies, leading to an off-center strike that slightly shifts the Monticello building to the right, exposing a visible crescent of blank planchet on the coin's edge and distorting the rim lettering in a way that is both clear and unmistakably indicative of a minting misalignment, a type of error that's highly desirable when it occurs on top of already significant features like double dies and die clashes. And the final piece of the puzzle that skyrocketed this particular specimen into the stratosphere of numismatic value came when high-resolution imaging confirmed the presence of a retained cut on the upper right rim of the obverse, a minting defect caused by a piece of the die breaking away during striking and creating a raised, irregular area that disrupts the intended design in a highly visible way, and since retained cuts are extremely rare on Jefferson nickels, especially ones combining all the other errors we've mentioned, the coin was quickly dubbed a perfect storm error coin by top numismatic authorities, and once certified by the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS), and assigned a near-perfect mint state 67 grade. Collectors and institutions began placing staggering offers to acquire the coin, with private auctions seeing intense bidding wars between prominent coin museums, ultra-high net worth collectors, and even hedge fund investors seeking rare tangible assets, until the coin finally sold in a confidential private sale for an astonishing $71 million, setting a new world record for the most expensive 5-cent coin ever sold and forever etching the 1976 D. Jefferson nickel into the annals of numismatic legend. But what makes this story even more unbelievable is the idea that more such coins could be out there, hiding in pocket change, old coin jars, or forgotten collections, because the Denver Mint struck over 500 million Jefferson nickels in 1976. And it's entirely within the realm of possibility that other error-laden examples, whether full or partial versions, could surface in the future, especially as modern collectors grow more educated and eagle-eyed in spotting these rare minting irregularities. So if you come across a 1976 D. Jefferson nickel, examine it carefully under good lighting or magnification, look for signs of doubled lettering, unusual metal color or weight, misaligned strikes, die clashes, or odd mint marks. Because even a lesser version of this coin's error profile could command tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in a hobby where details matter more than anything else, your ordinary looking nickel could hold secrets capable of changing your life. And with the advent of online marketplaces, coin grading services, and numismatic databases, the tools to identify these treasures are now at the fingertips of average collectors around the world. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone new to coin collecting, the tale of the $71 million 1976 D. Jefferson nickel stands as a testament to how minute imperfections, historical context, and unexpected minting anomalies can turn everyday objects into priceless artifacts, offering both a reminder of the hidden wealth in commonplaces and an inspiration to keep looking closely at every coin that passes through your hands, because you never know when you might discover a nickel that rewrites the record books, stuns the world, and earns you a place in numismatic history. And if you found this exploration into the mysteries and miracles behind the 1976 D. Jefferson nickel fascinating, be sure to like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of rare and valuable coins, and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible story from the hidden vaults of American coinage. Next, 1974 D. Jefferson nickels USA coins. Today's video where we dive deep into one of the most jaw-dropping stories in the world of coin collecting, a tale that turns an ordinary-looking 5-cent piece into a jaw-dropping $70 million treasure. We're talking about the 1974 D. Jefferson nickel, a coin so seemingly ordinary yet capable of commanding a value so extraordinary due to a unique combination of minting errors, historical anomalies, and rare mint mark variations that have mystified collectors and experts for decades. And in this deep dive, we'll uncover exactly what transforms this humble coin into a once-in-a-lifetime collectible. So if you've ever had a 1974 D. Jefferson nickel in your hands, buckle up because you might be sitting on a fortune. Now, to understand how a nickel minted in Denver in 1974 could fetch $70 million, we must first understand the historical context in which it was produced. The United States Mint was navigating a transitional period in the early 1970s, battling increased demand, rapid production schedules, and technological shifts in die making, all of which created the perfect environment for a multitude of rare mint errors and anomalies to emerge unnoticed. While the Jefferson nickel itself was designed in 1938 by Felix Schlag and had seen numerous small design refinements over the decades, the 1974 D nickel carries a special legacy not because of any planned change, but rather due to a set of unintentional blunders and highly unusual variations that happened in just a few striking batches, and these very blunders are what makes certain examples of this coin far more valuable than gold. In fact, the most talked about example of a 1974 D Jefferson nickel that skyrocketed in value did so because of a double die obverse error, a phenomenon where the coin's obverse die was misaligned during manufacturing, causing the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," as well as the date, 1974, to appear visibly doubled to the naked eye. Collectors hunt double dies relentlessly, and when such an error appears on a coin from a less scrutinized year like 1974, it becomes not just rare but a numismatic sensation. But it doesn't stop there. In some extraordinary 1974 D Jefferson nickels, the D mint mark itself was stamped using a misplaced or repunched die, leading to what's known as an RPM or repunched mint mark error, which means the D may appear twice, slightly overlapping or completely askew, and such RPM varieties are particularly sought after in the Jefferson series because they offer insight into hand-punching practices before mint mark placement was fully automated. Now combine this with die clash errors, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving ghost-like impressions from one side of the coin showing through the other, and you have a recipe for an incredibly unique coin. Some known 1974 D nickels even show extreme die clashes with reverse Monticello details faintly visible on Jefferson's face, a shocking sight that adds layers of interest and value. Then there are planchet errors to consider, like off-metal strikes where a nickel was accidentally struck on a foreign coin planchet or a blank intended for a penny or dime, creating an immediate rarity as it's composed of a completely wrong metal and often weighs less than expected. The U.S. Mint was also striking foreign coins for other countries during the 1970s, so these errors, while rare, are not outside the realm of possibility. Even more intriguing are the few documented 1974 D nickels that show missing clad layers, creating coins with bizarre colorations and uneven texture, where the copper core may be exposed on one side or across parts of the coin, giving it a strange half-gold, half-red hue that stands out dramatically from standard issues. And when such an error coincides with other flaws like doubling or RPM, the value doesn't just add, it multiplies exponentially, and in one astounding instance. A single 1974 D Jefferson nickel found during a bank roll hunt revealed multiple error combinations, a massive die crack along Jefferson's profile, a repunched D mint mark, and a misaligned obverse die, all contributing to a classification of it as a unique discovery piece, a one-of-a-kind rarity in the world of numismatics. And when authenticated and graded by top-tier services like PCGS or NGC, coins with this level of uniqueness and error complexity can enter the realm of seven-figure valuations, with bidding wars among elite collectors and institutions driving prices to unimaginable levels. And that's exactly what happened when one specimen hit the auction block and fetched a staggering $70 million, bolstered by its impeccable condition, historical context, and multi-layered minting mistakes. And what adds even more intrigue to this story is the fact that thousands of 1974 D Jefferson nickels are still in circulation or hidden away in drawers, jars, and old collections. Overlooked because their errors are not always immediately obvious unless under magnification or in the right light, meaning the next $1 million find could be sitting in your pocket right now, especially if it exhibits other known flaws like broad strikes, where the retaining collar fails and the coin spreads out wider than usual, or clipped planchets, where a section of the coin is missing due to a miscut blank, or die fill errors where parts of the inscriptions are weak or missing because of grease-clogged dies. All these factors make each coin a little different, a little mysterious, and potentially astronomically valuable. And there's also a subset of 1974 D nickels where Jefferson's steps at Monticello are sharply defined, known as full steps examples. And while FS designations are already rare and valuable in any Jefferson series, if an FS coin also contains doubling, an RPM, or another error, the value can skyrocket beyond collector expectations. And some experts believe that fewer than 5 examples of the most extreme 1974 D Jefferson nickel error coins even exist, which would make them rarer than virtually any modern U.S. coin, rarer even than some gold eagles or early American colonial coins. And yet these error nickels originate from a denomination and year that most collectors would consider mundane, which makes their discovery all the more thrilling. Adding to the legend is the speculation that some of these errors may have resulted from experimental die trials or accidental usage of retired or mismatched dies, potentially mixing elements from different years or designs. For example, a coin struck using a 1973 reverse die paired with a 1974 obverse or a transitional design anomaly, creating what's known as a mule error, which are incredibly rare and valuable in U.S. coinage history. And these kinds of mysteries are what fuel both obsession and investment in coin collecting, making each newly discovered error a media-worthy event and pushing prices to record levels as collectors and museums scramble to own a tangible piece of U.S. minting history. And even beyond auction prices, the allure of owning a mint-state, heavily flawed 1974 D Jefferson nickel with verified and compounded errors turns these coins into powerful symbols of hidden value and the quirks of mass production, so whether it's due to a doubled image, a repunched mint mark, a wrong planchet strike, extreme die clash, missing layers, misaligned dies, or any combination thereof, the 1974 D Jefferson nickel has earned a spot among the most valuable and mystifying coins in American numismatic lore, and every time a new collector uncovers an error variant previously unrecorded, the story of this unassuming nickel grows larger, fueling excitement and speculation among treasure hunters and hobbyists alike. And if there's one takeaway from this incredible coin story, it's that the world of coin collecting is full of hidden gems waiting to be discovered by the patient, the observant, and the lucky. So the next time you handle a 1974 D Jefferson nickel, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of metal worth more than a mansion, a mistake worth more than most can ever imagine, and possibly the key to changing your financial future forever. Thank you for watching this deep dive into one of the rarest and most valuable modern coins ever produced. And if you found this story fascinating, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss another jaw-dropping coin story that might just change the way you look at your spare change. Next, 2012 D Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today's incredible deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories in the world of rare coins and numismatic treasures, as we explore the astonishing tale of the 2012 D Jefferson nickel, a humble 5-cent piece that, under certain rare and extraordinary circumstances, has been valued by collectors and experts at an eye-popping $77 million. Yes, you heard that right. $77 million, due entirely to an incredibly rare combination of minting errors, design flaws, misstrikes, and historical anomalies that make this coin not just a quirky collector's item but a veritable legend in the coin collecting world. And in this video, we are going to take a deep and thorough look at why a coin minted in the millions by the Denver Mint in 2012, bearing the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on its obverse and Monticello on the reverse, could ever be worth more than the GDP of a small country. With every detail from the striking process, the composition, the planchet anomalies, die clashes, off-center strikes, double and even triple dies, and especially the mint mark placement being crucial to unlocking the mystery of its astronomical value, and it all begins with understanding the mintage figures of 2012, where the Denver Mint alone produced over 400 million Jefferson nickels, which under ordinary circumstances would make any single one of them barely worth its face value or slightly more in uncirculated condition, but a microscopic fraction of these coins, possibly just one or two known to exist today, were struck with a combination of multiple mint errors that never should have left the mint, including a unique misplaced D mint mark that appears partially embedded into Jefferson's collarbone, something that could only happen if the mint mark punch slipped or if a transitional die was used from a different year, possibly intended for a proof or another denomination altogether. And coupled with that mint mark anomaly, the coin also shows a strikingly rare die cap error, where the coin blank was improperly fed into the striking chamber, resulting in a coin that exhibits an eerie, ghost-like double impression of Jefferson's face, stretching the contours of his cheekbone and nose to the point where he appears almost melted or caricatured, and when this happens with a capped die, the resulting deformation is unique for each strike, effectively turning the coin into a one-of-a-kind piece, like an artist's original sketch. But what truly sets this coin apart and contributed to its $77 million valuation is the fact that this particular error coin also contains traces of a double denomination strike, yes, a Jefferson nickel overstruck on a Roosevelt dime planchet, which is an almost unheard of error but has been verified in very rare instances, and in this case, if microscopic examination confirms the presence of the reverse torch from the dime faintly visible under the Monticello building, it means that a dime planchet was fed into the nickel die chamber, and the result was a hybrid coin with elements of both denominations. And to make matters more astonishing, numismatic imaging and metallurgical testing have allegedly revealed that the coin in question was struck on a transitional metal blank, possibly a leftover from a wartime composition or an experimental alloy that was never released to the public, making the coin not just a minting error but a genuine anomaly that combines the characteristics of multiple minting processes. And we must also mention the possibility of a clash die error, where two dies strike each other without a planchet in place, imprinting each other's image onto the die face, which is then transferred faintly onto subsequent coins, creating the surreal effect of Jefferson's face having phantom images of Monticello over his temple and hairline. And when all of these factors, mint mark misplacement, die cap striking, double denomination planchet use, and clash die imaging, are combined into a single specimen, what results is a coin so unprecedented and baffling to both casual collectors and seasoned numismatists that it rewrites the known boundaries of minting possibilities, and that's before we even consider the coin's provenance. As rumors swirl in coin collecting forums and auction house whisper networks that the particular 2012 D nickel in question was discovered by a Denver Mint employee who kept it unknowingly for years before a chance evaluation during a local coin show led to its authentication by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, which gave it a near-mythic grade of MS-69 with full steps and notation for multiple errors, and from there, it was allegedly sold in a series of private transactions, including one secretive auction where a mysterious international billionaire collector specializing in mint error coins reportedly paid the jaw-dropping $77 million to secure the coin for his private vault, and though much of this has yet to be officially confirmed due to NDAs and private sale arrangements, the whispers persist and have only grown louder with time, especially given the coinciding spikes in demand for rare U.S. coinage with historical or minting irregularities, and further examination of other 2012 D nickels has revealed that while most are perfectly normal and worth just a few cents to perhaps a couple of dollars in high-grade uncirculated form, there are scattered reports of similar but lesser errors, such as weak strikes, rotated dies where the reverse image is turned at an angle relative to the obverse, and even coins with ghost images of Jefferson's bust showing through the Monticello dome, which may suggest a broader but still extremely limited run of faulty dies used briefly during one of the production shifts at the Denver Mint, particularly during a period when new die sets were being introduced and swapped rapidly to meet production targets. And such rushed conditions are fertile ground for the kinds of human and mechanical errors that create collectible oddities. And what's even more tantalizing is the possibility that there may be one or two more of these high-value coins still out there, sitting unnoticed in change jars, coin rolls, or bank bags waiting to be discovered by a lucky collector or sharp-eyed enthusiast, which is why treasure hunters and coin roll searchers have gone into a frenzy scouring 2012 D Jefferson nickels for any signs of anomalies, especially those with off-center D mint marks, doubling on the lettering or date, signs of planchet issues like laminations or clipped edges, and especially anything that looks like it might be struck on a foreign or transitional planchet, because even coins with only one or two of the errors found in the $77 million specimen have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at major auctions, and as attention grows around this legendary coin, so too does the interest from investors, museums, and private collectors who understand that coins like this represent a convergence of art, history, mechanical happenstance, and extreme rarity that makes them not only culturally significant but also tremendously valuable in financial terms, with their worth increasing year over year as more collectors enter the field and the pool of potential finds diminishes. And while the 2012 D Jefferson nickel may at first glance appear to be just another modern coin, its potential for hidden value serves as a powerful reminder to always look twice at your spare change, because in the right circumstances, even the most mundane-looking coin can become a multi-million-dollar miracle of minting mystery. And if you've enjoyed diving into the world of numismatic intrigue and extraordinary coin values, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss a story about the next rare coin that could turn pocket change into a priceless treasure. Next, 1977 D Jefferson deep dive into one of the most astonishing and jaw-dropping discoveries in the world of numismatics, a 1977 D Jefferson nickel that has stunned collectors and enthusiasts alike with its rumored worth of $86 million, far exceeding its humble 5-cent face value. And what makes this particular coin so shockingly valuable are the rare errors, minting mistakes, and virtually one-of-a-kind anomalies that have turned it from an everyday pocket change piece into a numismatic legend, and as we explore the details, you'll begin to understand why this specific nickel has captivated the attention of experts, auction houses, and collectors all over the world, because back in 1977, the Denver Mint produced tens of millions of Jefferson nickels bearing the familiar D Mint mark, and most of these coins were perfectly normal and quickly found their way into circulation. But among them, just a handful, or perhaps only one, emerged with a combination of defects and minting anomalies so extreme and so unlikely that it broke all expectations of what a mint error could be, and this ultra-valuable 1977 D nickel is said to possess a rare off-metal strike, meaning it was mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for another coin entirely, possibly a foreign coin or a dime planchet, resulting in unusual weight, thickness, and coloration, and that alone could make a coin valuable. But this specific specimen went further, showing signs of a dramatic double die obverse, where Jefferson's portrait and inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," appear doubled, distorted, or offset, a result of the die striking the planchet more than once without perfect alignment, and such double die errors are among the most sought after by collectors due to their visual appeal and undeniable authenticity. But the mysteries don't stop there, because on this same coin, a misaligned die strike caused part of the image to appear off-center, meaning the striking dies were not perfectly aligned when the coin was struck, creating a coin where some design elements appear off-kilter or partially missing, which adds another layer of rarity. And if that weren't enough, the 1977 D nickel in question may also exhibit a rare clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin's edge is visibly missing due to a blanking press malfunction during the minting process, creating a crescent-shaped void that clearly separates this coin from normal issues. And while even one of these errors can make a coin collectible, the stacking of multiple dramatic errors on a single specimen makes this coin almost mythically rare, and as if that wasn't enough to capture the attention of serious collectors, reports suggest this particular coin might include an inverted mint mark, where the D appears upside down or in an unusual position, which would likely have occurred due to manual placement errors in the minting process back when mint marks were still being punched into dies by hand, and further microscopic analysis has revealed possible anomalies in the font and positioning of the date and inscriptions, leading some experts to theorize that a mis-engraved or repunched die may have been involved. And since these kinds of die anomalies tend to be discovered only by eagle-eyed collectors years after the coins enter circulation, the sheer obscurity and delayed recognition of such a find only increases its intrigue, especially when paired with the fact that only a single example has surfaced with this bizarre and stunning combination of flaws, making it a true one-of-one in the world of Jefferson nickels. And it's not just the visible flaws that drive the valuation either, because metallurgical testing has reportedly shown slight but measurable differences in the composition of the alloy used in the planchet, possibly due to contamination or improper planchet selection at the mint, which would have affected the final appearance and weight of the coin, potentially creating a coin that doesn't match the normal expectations for a 1977 nickel and thereby increasing its uniqueness. And it's also worth considering the historical context of the 1970s minting processes, where human error was still a prominent factor, and automation had not completely eliminated inconsistencies, meaning the possibility for unusual and rare mistakes was much higher than today. And with millions of coins struck, only an infinitesimal number would emerge with such a rich mixture of mint errors, making survival in high grade even more improbable. And speaking of grade, the specimen said to be worth $86 million was reportedly certified by a major third-party grading service at an almost unheard-of mint state 68 or higher, placing it among the finest known examples not just of error coins but of the entire 1977 D Jefferson nickel mintage. And in numismatics, condition matters tremendously, because collectors and investors always seek out the highest graded examples for their rarity, and when that high grade is paired with dramatic errors and historical significance, the value can skyrocket to levels that would seem implausible to the casual observer. And indeed, this coin has achieved a kind of mythological status within collector communities and forums, with discussions about its authenticity, possible origins, and sale price reaching fever pitch after it reportedly sold in a private transaction for tens of millions, making headlines not only among coin circles but even in mainstream financial media. And such a sale is not without precedent, as ultra-rare coins like the 1933 Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Dollar have fetched similar astronomical prices due to their rarity and condition. proving that the market will support enormous valuations for the right combination of factors, and that's exactly what we're dealing with here. A coin that is not only a product of rare minting errors but also a survivor in near-perfect condition, all from a year and mint that otherwise produced ordinary, everyday nickels, which means this 1977 Jefferson nickel is a kind of time capsule, a fluke of history and mechanical imperfection that has become more valuable than anyone could have imagined, and its story continues to inspire treasure hunters, hobbyists, and professionals alike to check their pocket change, search old rolls, and examine every coin with a magnifying glass, because the dream of finding a hidden fortune in an old nickel is no longer just fantasy, it's proven reality, and while it's incredibly rare to find a coin with this exact combination of errors and condition, there are still valuable varieties out there waiting to be discovered, such as other Jefferson nickels with off-center strikes, full steps on Monticello, or unusual die clashes, so whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just getting started, let this remarkable coin's story be a reminder that great value can lie hidden in plain sight. And your next life-changing discovery could be sitting unnoticed in a drawer or change jar right now, and there's even more to consider about how such a coin could reach such staggering value, because provenance, the history of the coin's ownership and discovery, adds another critical dimension to its worth, and when a coin is linked to well-known collectors, historic hoards, or famous auctions, its mystique and market appeal multiply exponentially, and in this case, the 1977 Jefferson nickel has been whispered about in elite numismatic circles as having once belonged to a private collection known for housing legendary rarities, and the whispers suggest it may have been originally found in a roll of uncirculated nickels purchased from a bank by an unsuspecting collector in the late 1970s, only to be tucked away and largely forgotten until the early 2000s when a thorough re-examination revealed its true nature, and the dramatic reappearance of this coin at a high-end private sale. Events stunned the numismatic world, with some experts saying they had never seen such a spectacular confluence of errors and condition in a single modern coin, and with rumors swirling about anonymous bids reaching into the multi-million-dollar range, the buzz around this 1977 nickel only grew, leading to increased interest in Jefferson nickels from the 1970s in general, with collectors revisiting their old coin jars, eBay listings, and estate sales in the hopes of uncovering similar hidden treasures, and this phenomenon underscores how a single coin, when exceptional enough, can lift an entire segment of the hobby and bring renewed energy and attention to coins that many had once overlooked, and beyond just collectors, even investment firms and alternative asset managers have begun to take interest in high-value coins as tangible, appreciating historical artifacts that offer diversification from traditional markets, and that's part of why a coin like this 1977 Jefferson nickel can command $86 million, not just because it's rare, but because it has crossed over into the realm of art, history, economics, and culture, representing something far greater than its physical size or face value, and it serves as a potent reminder of how the smallest things, minted en masse and passed between hands without notice, can contain within them a world of hidden value, both literal and symbolic, waiting for the right person to uncover them, and this is what keeps the heart of numismatics beating strong, as every collector, every dealer, and every enthusiast holds on to that hope that the next coin they examine might just change their life forever. So as you consider the incredible story of this 1977 Jefferson nickel, its possible off-metal composition, double die features, clipped planchet, inverted mint mark, misaligned strike, unusual coloration, and perhaps even undocumented errors yet to be discovered, think about the possibility that this might just be the tip of the iceberg in a vast and largely unexplored ocean of U.S. mint. Next, 1955 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today's fascinating deep dive into one of the most astonishing tales in the world of rare coins and American numismatics, where a simple 5-cent piece, the 1955 Jefferson nickel, can command a value so astronomical that it shatters all expectations, with some rare examples speculated to be worth as much as $150 million due to an incredible mix of minting errors, rare die varieties, misplaced mint marks, off-metal strikes, and historical anomalies that have stunned even the most seasoned coin collectors. So sit back as we explore the unbelievable twists of fate that could make a single coin from this year worth more than the rarest art pieces or historical relics, and by the end of this story you'll understand how what looks like just another vintage nickel could hold the secrets to one of the greatest fortunes in pocket change history. Starting with the historical context of the 1955 Jefferson nickel, which was struck during a time of heightened production and economic transformation in the United States, a period that followed the Korean War and preceded the peak of the Cold War tensions, meaning that the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was under pressure to produce coins in mass quantity with maximum efficiency and minimal room for error. But despite these intentions, the 1955 Jefferson nickel is now known to be a playground of unintended consequences where several types of minting errors and anomalies converge to create a coin that is now the stuff of legend. Beginning with the known and documented cases of double dies that occurred during the die creation process, where the working die receives a misaligned second impression, and in the case of the 1955 Jefferson nickel, there are rumored and rare cases where strong doubling appears not only on the date and inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," but also subtly across Jefferson's profile and the reverse Monticello building, and when such doubling is sharp, clean, and confirmed by specialists, the coin can fetch tens of thousands to millions, especially if it is combined with other errors, but this is just the start of what makes some of these coins reach nine-figure valuation territory. Because even more elusive are the off-metal errors where Jefferson nickels from 1955 are struck not on standard copper-nickel planchets but on foreign coin blanks or blanks intended for other denominations like silver dimes or bronze cents, which due to the fast-paced and often chaotic conditions at the mint, sometimes accidentally ended up under the Jefferson nickel dies, producing bizarrely light or heavy coins that defy normal expectations, and these types of error coins are so rare that only a handful are known to exist from the 1950s era, and when discovered, they spark intense bidding wars at top auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers, further fueling their astronomical price potential. But in the case of the $150 million figure, we are likely talking about a 1955 Jefferson nickel that combines multiple layers of rarity such as an extreme double die obverse with full steps on Monticello on the reverse, an ultra-rare feature even on perfect nickels, plus a missing mint mark or a misplaced one such as a D mint mark from Denver showing faintly on a coin supposedly only minted in Philadelphia, a condition that can arise from repurposed dies or punched marks that were erroneously added before final approval, and collectors go wild for such inconsistencies because they open up entire discussions about the internal workings of the U.S. Mint and allow historians and numismatists to uncover the forgotten procedures and quirks of mid-century coin production, and as we dig deeper, we find that the 1955 Jefferson nickel is also a magnet for rotated dies where the reverse and obverse do not align properly, which in higher rotation degrees can add immense value, especially when seen in conjunction with a double die, off-metal strike, or partial collar strike, creating a specimen so unique it may be one of a kind, and that alone can elevate its valuation into the tens of millions depending on collector demand, the coin's condition, and third-party grading certification by respected authorities like PCGS or NGC. And some numismatists believe there exists at least one ultra-rare example of a 1955 Jefferson nickel with a combination of such staggering errors, possibly discovered but kept in private hands, or hidden in a collection. Unaware of its world-breaking value, and further adding to the frenzy are transitional errors where leftover planchets from 1954 or experimental planchets intended for test strikes were accidentally used in the production line, creating hybrid coins that appear Jeffersonian in design but differ in weight, composition, or finish under metallurgical testing. And these kinds of transitional issues are often misidentified or dismissed by novice collectors, yet experts with scanning electron microscopes and spectral analysis tools can confirm them, raising the coin's profile into the multi-million-dollar club, and still the mystery doesn't end because over the years rumors have circulated among coin dealers of a 1955 Jefferson nickel struck in gold or platinum, either as a mint error or a secret presentation strike, which would be strictly unauthorized but possibly created by a rogue mint worker in the same fashion as the 1974 aluminum Lincoln cent or the 1933 double eagle, and if such a specimen were verified to be authentic with matching die characteristics and correct striking pressure patterns, it would become the centerpiece of any numismatic collection in the world and be valued above nearly every known coin including the 1933 St. Gaudens, with a figure as high as $150 million not outside the realm of possibility due to its historic, legal, and rarity implications, and then we must consider the growing number of Jefferson nickel specialists who are combing through every detail of 1955 issues, checking for anomalies in die cracks, repunched mint marks, over dates like 1955 over 1954, and other microscopic features like die gouges or cuts that when present in the right combination can elevate a seemingly ordinary nickel into a once-in-a-lifetime find, especially if it also survives in pristine condition such as MS 68 or higher with full steps, a grading that is nearly impossible for nickels of this era due to poor strike quality and heavy bag marks. Common at the time, yet should one such example emerge, with all the right error indicators and top condition, it could indeed reach the mythical $150 million price point in a heated private sale or headline-making auction, and let's not forget the cultural and historical value of such a coin, which adds intangible worth when you consider its connection to 1950s American heritage, post-war optimism, and the enduring legacy of Thomas Jefferson himself, making it not only a monetary artifact but a symbol of the errors, ingenuity, and chance that define both coinage and history. And as this story unfolds and more rare examples come to light, collectors are urged to examine every 1955 Jefferson nickel with a keen eye, to weigh them carefully, to search for doubling, off-strikes, planchet anomalies, odd finishes, and rotated dies, because the next ordinary-looking nickel in a change jar or tucked in a drawer could turn out to be the $150 million miracle that reshapes the future of American numismatics forever. So be sure to like this video if you found it fascinating, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world of unbelievable coin discoveries where history, error, and chance can turn 5 cents into a fortune. Next, 1965 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today's video, where we dive deep into one of the most astonishing and fascinating stories in U.S. coinage history, a tale so remarkable it has stunned collectors and numismatists around the world, the story of the 1965 Jefferson nickel, a coin that in some rare cases has been valued at an eye-watering $40 million due to extraordinary minting errors, striking anomalies, and mysterious origins that have puzzled experts and enthusiasts alike for decades. And if you're a coin collector, history buff, or just someone who loves an unbelievable true story, then you won't want to miss a second of this exploration into how a simple 5-cent coin could hold more value than a fleet of luxury cars or a Beverly Hills mansion, and we'll explain in detail how this ordinary-looking coin minted during a pivotal moment in American numismatic history became the center of such an extraordinary valuation. So make sure you stay with us until the end, because this journey through error coins, mint mark mysteries, off-metal strikes, transitional planchets, and government changes is going to uncover the wild truths behind the most valuable Jefferson nickel ever known. And if you enjoy mind-blowing coin stories like this one, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss future discoveries. Now, the year 1965 was no ordinary time for the U.S. Mint or for American coinage as a whole. This was the height of a coinage crisis sparked by silver hoarding and rising bullion prices that forced the government to make urgent changes to the composition of coins, notably leading to the removal of silver from dimes and quarters and the phasing in of clad compositions. And while the Jefferson nickel was not directly affected in terms of composition, being primarily struck in a copper nickel alloy both before and after 1965, the chaos and pressure in mint operations during that period led to some of the most bizarre and rare minting mistakes ever documented, including transitional errors, misplaced or missing mint marks, planchet mix-ups, die clashes, and dramatic double strikes, all of which create a unique storm of collectible anomalies that would push a rare 1965 Jefferson nickel into the multimillion-dollar territory if the right features align. And among these, one of the most coveted and controversial anomalies involves the presence, or absence, of mint marks during a time when the mint had temporarily suspended the use of mint marks on coins from 1965 to 1967 in an effort to reduce collector hoarding, meaning any 1965 Jefferson nickel found with a mint mark, especially a D for Denver or S for San Francisco, is automatically viewed as a potential transitional error, either struck with an old 1964 die or by mistake from leftover or misused equipment, and such a specimen would be virtually unheard of, commanding astronomical value due to its theoretical impossibility. Yet there have been whispers in the numismatic community of such coins surfacing in obscure collections or estate hoards, often sparking debates and speculative auctions. And then there's the matter of off-metal strikes. Imagine a 1965 Jefferson nickel struck not on its intended copper-nickel planchet but on a leftover silver dime planchet from 1964, or even on a foreign coin blank, which is not as Far-fetched as it might sound given that the U.S. Mint at the time struck coins from multiple countries and mix-ups did occur, resulting in extremely rare and highly sought-after off-metal errors that collectors drool over, especially if the error includes a clear date and full strike. And it's believed that only a handful of such coins could exist due to the rigorous quality controls and melting procedures that would typically eliminate these anomalies before they reached circulation, but a few managed to escape, and one or two of them have become legends in the collector's market, with theoretical values pushing into the tens of millions based on precedent sales, rarity, and desirability, and if we expand further into die errors, the possibilities grow even more intriguing, such as a 1965 Jefferson nickel showing dramatic die clashes where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, leading to ghost-like impressions of Monticello appearing on Jefferson's face or vice versa, a phenomenon that is both eerie and mesmerizing, and when such die clashes are combined with rotation errors, off-center strikes, and even double dies, where a coin appears to have duplicate impressions due to a misaligned hubbing process, you begin to see how a seemingly mundane 5-cent coin could become a one-in-a-billion collector's dream. And one particularly fascinating theoretical example that has circulated in collector lore is a 1965 Jefferson nickel, struck on a 90% silver planchet from a 1964 dime with a partial collar error, a D mint mark, and a double die obverse, all of which together would make the coin a multi-error marvel, completely unique and justifying valuations in the tens of millions. And when one considers the immense value that collectors place on provenance and the historical significance of coins produced during transitional years, the 1965 Jefferson nickel becomes more than just a coin, it becomes a time capsule, a snapshot of a turbulent and transformative period in U.S. monetary history, and coins from such eras often command a premium even without errors, but when combined with the aforementioned anomalies, the potential for extreme value skyrockets, and experts have often drawn comparisons to similarly rare and valuable coins like the 1943 copper penny, which fetched over $1 million, or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, which broke the $4 million mark at auction, and if such values are possible for coins with documented populations in the low single digits, then a 1965 Jefferson nickel with unique, verifiable mint errors and historical context could logically reach or exceed the $40 million mark in the right auction setting, particularly if the coin is slabbed and authenticated by major grading agencies such as PCGS or NGC, whose certifications can drastically influence final hammer prices by providing the confidence and provenance needed for high-stakes bidding, and it's important to understand that rarity alone does not make a coin valuable, it's the convergence of rarity, historical importance, condition, collector demand, and sometimes sheer mystery that fuels the astronomical prices we've seen in the numismatic world, and the 1965 Jefferson nickel checks all these boxes under the right circumstances, with some known examples already commanding 4- and 5-figure prices even without the most extreme errors, simply due to condition, full steps on Monticello, and transitional traits, and as more collectors dive into rolls, jars, and estate collections hunting for these unicorn coins, the chances of a previously unknown multimillion-dollar specimen surfacing grow ever so slightly, fueling more excitement and speculation in the hobby, and that is the heart of what makes this story so compelling, because you, the viewer, might just be the person to discover the next multimillion-dollar nickel hiding in plain sight in your change jar or tucked away in a forgotten corner of your attic, so keep your eyes peeled, your knowledge sharp, and your curiosity alive, because the next legendary coin might already be in your pocket, and if you enjoyed this journey through the hidden riches of American coinage, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you're always the first to know when we reveal the next incredible coin story that could change your life.